The Ghana Armed Forces says it is investigating alleged brutalities meted out to a 16-year-old boy accused of stealing a mobile phone of a military officer. The boy, known as Christopher Bama, is said to have been severely brutalized for several hours by two officers who refused to heed to pleas that he was innocent. Christopher is unable to speak at the moment. His family believes this is as a result of the ordeal. His brother, Richard Kombian, shared his story with Joy News' MFA Wenam Etiamwa Eli.
He was being beaten from 9 to 2, that he was sent inside to the room, that they are going to kill him. Then my sister ran to the police station to give a report. After the report,
which was around 9 in the morning.
In the morning to 2:30.
And you say you can't tell the police station your sister ran to.
Yes.
It's been 3 weeks too.
Yes.
And she has not been able to tell you which police station she ran to.
See, when I got there, the case, they were asking, go here, from this police station to this police station, to the last police quarters in Tamale.
So during the process, how many police stations have you been so far?
When I got there, it's just the headquarters I went. I spoke to the commander straight.
Oh, Tamale Regional Police Command.
Yes, he's the one I spoke to. So the guy was transferred to military 37 year.
Okay. So by then he had been beaten.
He has been beaten and he was admitted in a police station for hospital for 5 days.
So let me take you back a little. At what point did they start beating him and for what reason?
They called him, when he sent the water home, they called him back and they asked him again and he said he's not the one taken. So they seized the motor. When they seized the motor, he said the motor doesn't belong to him. They inflict the tires in the front and the back all. And they said the motor doesn't belong to him. He begged them they should give the motor to him to go and give the owner. And they started beating him.
Okay, so the situation here is that Christopher is unable to talk coherently now, and he can't also really move about. He can't walk. That's how come his elder brother Richard is talking for him, explaining what actually happened on the 4th of April. This is actually Christopher's account to Richard on the day of the incident, and that's what he's narrating to us. The day the thing happened, which was like 9 p.m.
Yes.
When he was so beaten, he was beaten so much. Yes. Was he able to move? Was he able to come home? Was he?
No, they didn't allow him to come. They handcuffed him against a mango tree. My mother get to the place and they'll use their leg to boot my mother and things all.
Okay.
So he was admitted in the Kamina military hospital.
At what point did they take him out of the airport or from the mango tree and took him to the hospital?
From the report, from that 2:30, they took him to the military police station. Okay. From the police station, they took him to hospital. The police people asked them to take him to hospital.
Were you given a police report to take him to, medical report?
Yes.
Okay, then you took him to which hospital?
The military hospital in Kamina there.
When your mother and your sister reported the case to the police, what happened? What did the police do?
The police asked him, they also sent they were saying because the soldiers was ahead of them, they have to take the case to military police. So they sent to the regional crime officer, and is the regional crime officer, he reported to the military police. Yes, so they reported to him, and the guy they asked the soldiers to send the guy to the hospital. So they sent him to the military hospital at the Kamina there. When they said the guy should be taken to the hospital, my sister rushed to teaching hospital in Tamale there for folder before they will come. But he took the folder, he waited, they never come.
Which people never came?
The soldiers never come with the guy there. So later on, he was told the guy has been taken to the military hospital there. So she rushed to the police.
So it was at this hospital, the teaching hospital, that he was admitted?
No, military hospital.
Military hospital.
Kamina.
How long has he been there?
He was there till the following morning, and they said the guy was okay. They brought him home, and the guy was vomiting blood. He can't sit, he can't lie, he can't talk.
This was after the beating?
That was after the beating.
Okay.
So we called the soldier to send him to hospital. He was saying he's not having any money, and the military police even told my sister he shouldn't call. He called the soldier to send the guy to the hospital, and the soldier gave the military commander number to my sister to call. So the guy was vomiting blood. He can't pass a urinal, and a lot of scans were done, and they were expecting CTC scan to be done. We went to teaching hospital. It was not there. They were referred to 37. Okay. And he can't be in ambulance to this place.
This was after 1 week?
That was after 7 days. Came to 37 and they told me there was no space to admit him, and the scan was not working. They referred me to Kwalibu, and by then the money with me was no more there. I called my uncle.
A delegation from the Military High Command on Friday followed up to join news after the interview was broadcast, along with an ambulance with which they conveyed Christopher to the Korle Bu Teaching Hospital. The delegation, which included the Chief of Defense Staff, assured the case will be thoroughly investigated. Director of Public Affairs of the Ghana Armed Forces, Colonel Eric Agre-Kwashi, revealed the 2 officers involved are in custody. He spoke with Kwabena Chenchenhe-Boateng on News Desk.
This is more of a criminal act because the unit or the armed forces will not sanction such treatment to anybody. And so anybody who gets himself involved in such a situation will have to be dealt with according to the laws of the state.
But these are young men perpetrating such acts.
You know, you see, with excesses, they come. There's a lot of youthful exuberance everywhere, but gradually we know when some people are used as examples, the message that they are always being told, they will understand it better. They will understand the message better. And so in this case, the police is handling it. We are also doing our investigations to see the culpability of the personnel involved. So once the criminal aspect is dealt with, then we also deal with them according to our...
So no, you make it look like it's an isolated case, but we've heard on more than, you know, it's not happened once or twice or 3 times.
It's not that is an isolated case. It is not an isolated case, but the circumstances surrounding each case can be taken separately.
So let's look at this issue now.
Yeah.
So these persons that perpetrated this action, where are they now? Are they still at post?
No, they are. My last information indicated that they are with the police.
They are with the police,
yes.
Assisting with investigations.
Yes.
When was that? When were they taken to the police?
Either this morning or yesterday. Because yesterday they were in the guard room. Once this thing got to our attention, they were put in the guard room for us to start our own investigations. And it has a criminal component, and that's how we brought the police also in, for them to deal with it as a criminal matter.
So in such instances, when you investigate, what next? What happens?
Once it's a criminal issue, whatever response or report the police bring is what, if there's a need for them to be sent to court, they'll be sent to court. And what the court says, that is final. And then when they finish with the court case, then when they come back, then we will also deal with them according to our regulations.
And in dealing with them according to regulations, what happens to them?
Yeah, it depends. You don't.
So for a situation like this,
no, I can't sit here and say that for this situation, this is what we have.
What are the likely sanctions then?
No, I can't give likely sanctions, but depending on the outcome of whatever investigations that will be done, what recommendations the board will make, then we'll take an action.
The Northern Region Police Command has meanwhile confirmed it is also investigating the case after it was reported to it. Regional Public Relations Officer ASP Ebenezer Tete, however, tells Joy News the 2 officers were released on bail after their statements were taken. He spoke with Francis Aban on the polls.
The matter was reported at the Lamasibu police station at about 3 p.m. The boy we were told was arrested by the soldier or the soldiers at about 9 a.m. And the allegation was that he has come to the place. They actually came to the place to fetch water. And subsequently, a phone of a soldier got missing. So they suspected him, and he was arrested, and he was assaulted. And the sister rushed to the police station. They met me in the office and narrated, and I took us to the regional CID as I was narrating. So subsequently, the boy was brought to the Lamasibu police station, and when we saw his condition, we quickly, instructed the people who brought him to the police station that he should be taken to the hospital for treatment first. So they took him to the Kamina or the CBN clinic where he was treated, and then subsequently we took the caution statement from him and then granted him police inquiry bail. It was subsequently that we heard that he's been taken to the Sawam first, and then subsequently we heard this one that he was in Accra. And also the military authorities handed over the military man in question to us, and we took a caution statement from him. Because it's a bailable offense, we bail him, and we asked him to report periodically.
Okay.
And that is where
Agrikwasi told us here on the program that the two soldiers in question, the officers who beat up the boy, are in your custody. Can you confirm that?
They are on bail.
They are on bail. Both of them are on bail.
Exactly.
So two soldiers came and wrote their statements for you.
We have taken statements from from soldiers. Yes.
Now we're joined on the phone line now by Major Retired Derek Odro. He's a member of the Interior and Defense Committee. He's also MP for Nkranza, and he's going to be sharing with us his insights as to what this story is all about and where the military's position is. Good evening to you, Major.
Good evening, my brother.
All right. So we're hearing these cases. First of all, let's start off from the military saying that the soldiers are in the custody of the police, and yet the police is saying that they were released on bail. Can you explain to us what is happening here?
No, come again. The soldiers are on bail.
All right. So the military is saying that the two soldiers who are involved in this are with the police or are in the custody of the police, and yet the police is telling us that the soldiers are on bail.
Okay. Thank you very much, and good evening to your listeners. Soldiers are under two laws. They are under civil law and the military law. So if a soldier goes to misbehave or perform some act contrary to military law, you'll be with. If you do go and do anything prejudicial to good order and discipline in the armed forces, Section 54 of the Armed Forces Act will get you, and then they will try you. The disciplinary board will be instituted, and then you'll be dealt with according to the law. Any other punishment will be meted out to you, and then that would be the end of it. If you are to be dismissed, they will dismiss you. If you are to be stripped in rank, they will strip you. They will reduce you in rank. If you are to be put under confinement, put in a guard room for how many days, they will do it. That is for military. Now, if they still think that whatever you did can also be triable under the civil law, you'll be handed over to the police. If they decide to leave you alone and then allow the civil police to deal with you, they can do it. So if they are saying that the soldiers who went and misbehaved, if that is what the general public is talking about, and have been handed over to the civil police, the normal civil law will be applied. Bail could be granted to the soldiers who have been put under confinement in the police cell as per any other person, because that is the civil law. If it's in the guard room, you'll be there. They will not release him. But we are under civil law, and therefore they can grant them bail for investigations to be conducted. If there's a need for them to put them on trial at the civil court, they will do it. And whatever the law says, any punishment that they deserve will be given to them. So that is the position of the military law and then the civil law pertaining to armed forces members.
All right, Major Retired Derek Odro, you've been in the military before. Now that we've been told that they are on bail, the police says they are on bail, will it mean that they will go back to the guard room?
No, if they have been granted bail by the civil court, once it has moved from the military to the civil police would give their conditions to them. And therefore, they go back and then they are not going to be put in a guard room. They will wait for the civil police to finish their investigation. If they are cleared, they go back and then perform their normal duty. If the military thinks that what they did is disgraceful, in the case of other ranks, they say conduct to the prejudice of good order and discipline. In the case of an officer, It says scandalous behavior on becoming of an officer of Ghana Armed Forces. So officers have their offense, and then the other ranks also have their offense. So if the police are able to clear you, they say you have not committed any offense, you are free, you go. But if the police, the military think that no, what you did is contrary to good order and discipline, they will deal with you. The military can deal with you. That is internal. It's not outside the military. So at times, military can take action, and then the population will not understand. They will not come and publish it that, oh, they disciplined the soldier when he committed certain offense in the street. No, but not in the barracks, but in the street, no.
All right, Major Retired, I'd like to ask you one final question. As a former military person yourself, do you think, and looking at the number of incidents that have happened in recent times, do you think that the military appears to be losing some, credibility or the discipline that they had, or they were trying to purge themselves of these miscreants? Do you think they're losing that fight?
It depends on the situation, depends on the occurrence. If the occurrence is such that military personnel have been sent on duty, perform their normal function, to go and see to the restoration of law and order somewhere, and something happened. Nobody, it isn't the soldier who went there on his own frolic. It was the military that sent him there. So if he goes to involve himself in any action that is not acceptable to civilians, the police, the civil population may see it differently, but the military will also still have a way they look at it. If it's something you want excesses, there were excesses, they can punish you, but not to go and publish it anywhere that, oh, the soldier went there. It is internal. You may not see it. Maybe action has been taken against him. Punishment has been meted out to him. But because you didn't hear, you think, oh, the people went and did something. But at the same time, you look at the morale of the truth. You will send the same soldier to go and perform the same function or similar function somewhere, to go and save the situation for a civilian. And if you want the soldier to be sacked, and all of them are sacked, who will come and perform, give you security?
All right.
You know, later armed robbers will land, and you want the soldier to come and assist you. So it's not all offenses, it's not all actions that you want a soldier to be dealt with, to be maybe released from the service, or what you think supposed to be done to him will be done to him.
All right.
At times they look at the morale. What will happen later on? You use the same soldier.
All right, thank you very much, Major Retired Derek Odro. He's a member of Parliament's Interior and Defense Committee, but still staying with the Ghana Armed Forces. It says it has not concluded its investigations into a shooting incident involving its personnel at Kaswa Millennium City last year, which resulted in one death. 2 others sustained injuries when the soldiers fired on civilians who were protesting a demolition exercise in the area. The Director of Public Relations at the Ghana Armed Forces, Colonel Eric Agrikwashi, in an earlier interview with Joy News, stated that the officers did no wrong.
You know that particular incident, Joy FM wanted to lay ambush for us. Joy FM knew that the soldiers were going there. And so why would Joy FM go and lay ambush for military people?
We actually got the hints, and then we rushed to the scene. Not that we laid ambush.
You were there even before. Yes. So you see, we also do our own investigations and found out that you want to lay ambush for us. So you even were preempting that these soldiers will come and misbehave. So even when they go there, somebody could even instigate them, because they were trying so against them. But that one, nobody reported that.
So the investigations have shown that they were really not responsible for any bad acts. Actually.
No, the people went there to perform a duty, and there were exchanges.
And the personnel who are responsible are still within the service. No action has been taken against them.
No, no. If I send somebody to go and perform a duty, and something goes wrong, what sort of action do I have to? I can't dismiss them from the service because if they have not asked them to go and perform the duty, that incident would have happened. So you can't dismiss them from the armed forces. But you look at it. If there were excesses, yes, then you punish them accordingly. But the type of punishment the media is expecting, it might not be the type of punishment that will be.
Has any punishment been meted out at all from what?
That one is within our circus, and so we know how to deal with our people when they do things outside their the tax that is given them.
Well, he have now insists investigations are still underway.
You will tell me that the soldiers just saw the people and just fired into them.
I can't tell.
You see, that is why I don't want us to drag this issue that much.
But again, why go for such an assignment with live bullets? I thought you said usually the norm is that you run parallel investigations.
Yeah, we do ours, they also do theirs.
What's with yours?
Yes. I didn't come here to come and discuss this, so I wouldn't want to talk about those things.
In this instance, you were dealing with civilians.
The people were on patrols. Please, the people were on patrols. And so it's not that they just woke up and went there to go and attack the people at the place. Don't let it look like that.
And they couldn't opt for other options, maybe rubber bullets or any other option just to maintain calm other than shoot indiscriminately?
I think you are mixing up some things. When you have issues, before you bring the military into issues, the issues have gone beyond a certain situation. It's not if they could talk to them to be calm. The police would have done that. But if they get into a situation that bring the military in, the military will not come into a situation and be carrying rubber bullets. Well, we are not the first line of contact when it comes to situations like this. And so if there is a problem and the military is called in, you should understand that they won't come and be behaving the way you expect. Because once you call them in, it's gone beyond the stage of negotiation, and they have to come restore normalcy for those negotiations to take place.
Okay.
Yes.
So these officers of yours who were in that very accident, I'm not speaking of this 16-year-old boy incident, I'm speaking of that issue at Kaswa Millennium City. I mean, what has become of them? 23 of them.
The issue is still being handled by a higher level. It's not in our hands now.
Which higher authority are you speaking of?
Yes. If it's the police, the
police is higher than the military?
No, when there's a level of criminality over a case and a report is made, you know, they were sent to the police station to go and write statement. So from there, we don't have any control.
But I thought you said usually the norm is that you run parallel investigations.
Yeah, we do ours, they also do theirs.
What's with yours?
Yes. I didn't come here to come and discuss this, so I wouldn't want to talk about those things.
Watching Joy News Prime, we're taking a break. We'll be back with more. Please don't go away. President John Dramani Mahama has announced that he is giving executive approval for the Technical University Bill to be laid before Parliament. The President assured that his NDC-led government will not relent in its efforts to rebrand technical education and reaffirmed his commitment to fulfilling his campaign promise of converting all 10 polytechnics into technical universities within his first term of office. President Mahama made these comments when speaking at the inauguration ceremony of an ultra-modern engineering laboratory for the whole Polytechnic during his Accounting to the People tour of the Volta region.
President Mahama says Technical Universities Bill will be laid before Parliament soon. President Mahama disclosed that the first batch of polytechnics will be converted into technical universities in September later this year. He, however, assured that government will soon introduce a fast-track program to facelift faculties and infrastructure in polytechnics that have not qualified to be converted to enhance the meet the criteria for conversion into technical universities.
I announced that to strengthen the supply of skilled middle and woman power and to resolve the controversy of the placement and academic progression, we will in my first term of office convert our polytechnics into technical universities. During this first term of office, we will accelerate development of infrastructure and faculty to ensure that the conversion occurs
President Mahama said the Ministry of Education, in collaboration with the Council for Technical Vocational Education Training, has designed technical working initiatives to offer technical learning systems in the technical universities. The president also mentioned that CODVET is retooling 10-second cycle technical institutions with modern infrastructure under the development study for the industry project with a fund of $124 million from the African Development Bank. This is to enable second cycle technical institutions provide a better technical foundation for students.
Watching Joy News Prime, we're taking a break. When we come back, we'll bring you business news. All right, time for business. And Emmanuel.atani is here. Good evening to you, Emmanuel.
Good evening, Israel. How are you today?
I'm doing well.
All right, okay.
I trust you are too.
Yes, I am. I'm fine.
Okay.
Doing very well.
Give us the business.
I don't know whether you have an insurance policy, but there's this general feeling that, or there's this general notion that insurance penetration in the country is low.
Well, I have several insurance policies.
The life one?
Yes, and
okay,
life
that's
too.
good. That's very good. So the insurance company, the National Insurance Commission, is introducing, a special package for Muslims, an insurance package for Muslims.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the top story in business.
All right.
All right, so good evening, time for business. And the National Insurance Commission has initiated steps to introduce Islamic insurance for Muslims in the country. It will be known as takaful, which is an Arabic word meaning guaranteeing each other's comfort. The insurance policy will enable members guarantee each other against losses by contributing into a pool. Insurance Commissioner Lydia Bauer believes such targeted approach should help boost insurance penetration in the country.
The principles of insurance are almost the same, but with takaful there is a slight religious slant. So we have engaged experts to advise us on the nature of that so that we can introduce it in Ghana. Elsewhere, especially in some of the West African countries where the Muslim population is higher, say the Gambia, where you have about 90% of the population Muslim, and maybe Nigeria where it's about, I don't know the ratios, but it's about almost 50-50. Takaful insurance is gaining ground. We don't have a very large Muslim community, but there is a Muslim community in Ghana that we can tap into by introducing the takaful. Certainly we'll go that way because we need to reach out to those communities and also bring them.
And from the 1st of June this year, all motorists who secure or renew their motor insurance would be required to register for the ECOWAS Brown Card, a certificate of insurance cover for motorists in the ECOWAS sub-region. The Brown Card is currently issued to only motorists who travel into any of the 14 ECOWAS member countries. But Chief Executive of the Ghana National Bureau of the ECOWAS Brown Card Insurance Scheme, Gabriel Glover, says it has become more important to register all motorists. He spoke to Joy Business at the opening of the zonal meeting of the scheme.
With ECOWAS space, whether you move outside Ghana or move inside Ghana, you are driving within the ECOWAS state. An Ivorian vehicle drives into Ghana. He's carrying a brown card. The Ghanaian vehicle doesn't have a brown card. They are involved in an accident. How do you treat their claims? So, because it has become an ECOWAS space, Ivorian vehicles drive into Ghana, Ghanaian vehicles drive into Ivory Coast. You can have accident. The fault can be the fault of the Ghanaian vehicle or the fault of... So, whether you travel outside Ghana or you don't travel outside Ghana, you still run the ECOWAS risk. It will definitely come with an extra cost because the certificate comes with a cost. You see, from 1st of July 2015, the ECOWAS risk was introduced into the third-party liability cover in Ghana. So from that date, you have an ECOWAS risk cover, but you don't have the certificate. And in insurance, if you have motor insurance, if you have cover, you need certificate to back it.
So away from that, the recent warnings of terrorist attacks have not affected shopping activities at malls in the country. Managers of some shopping centers, however, say they are not taking security issues for granted. Recent terrorist attacks in Côte d'Ivoire, posing a threat to Ghana, have been a source of great concern, compelling the IMF to postpone its review mission to Ghana. Daryl Kwao has more from a security training exercise for tenants, staff and service providers at Junction Mall, one of the shopping centers managed by Brawl Ghana.
Managers of Junction Mall here in Accra taking staff, tenants and service providers through security training exercises. Participants very much aware of the dangers they are exposed to in the wake of terror threats.
I've got to understand and know that the security in the country are now vivid, and also learn some tips and stuff in terms of how to prevent yourself from any gunshot or like in terms of shooting. It's either you stand or hide yourself against a wall, or you lie down without, having any fear within you also.
This is one of several measures being taken by managers of Junction Mall to beef up security. However, Center Manager Ebenezer Asaria-Mankwa says the recent threats have not affected shopping activities.
It has not affected our patronage in any way. People are still visiting, people are still shopping, people are going about their normal duties without any such concern.
One thing is clear though, the issue of security is one that has come to stay and cannot be overlooked.
This is real, it has come to be with us and we just have to accept it. Yes, hitherto we've all heard about this terrorism attacks and stuff elsewhere. We have, but now we are realizing and everybody is beginning to accept the fact that it's here with us. It's been at Nigeria, it's been at Côte d'Ivoire, Burkina. It's just around us, so we just have to accept that reality and live with it.
Daryl Kwao, Joy Business.
Now, some players in the automobile industry have hailed the recent stability in the value of the Ghana cedi as timely for their business operations. The Ghana cedi has in recent weeks held its own against other major currencies, although with a marginal appreciation. Importers of various products have always lamented the negative impact of the cedi depreciation on their businesses. The executive director of Toyota Ghana, Eric Dako, says they are, however, now enjoying some respite. He spoke to Joy Business at the official launch of the new Toyota IMV Hilux.
Definitely, automobile industry has very tough competition. The stability of a currency has always been good for economy, and for us, having a stable economy, a stable currency is the best for us, because you price your vehicle in cities, and meanwhile we order them from from outside. So as and when the dollar is increasing, you have to change your prices. As it is stable, you keep your price. So it is good for us to have the cedi being stable against the dollar. It helps our customers to plan properly towards the vehicle purchase. And once they plan properly towards the vehicle purchase, it also helps us with our sales.
Now, lack of clear implementation methods have been identified as a major shortfall in Ghana's local content and local participation law. Barely 3 years after its passage, however, there are concerns it may not be yielding the desired results. This came up at the just-ended 7th Annual Ghana Summit on Oil, Gas and Power. Sheila Tamaklu reports.
The local content and local participation law was passed to ensure Ghanaians play significant roles in the petroleum industry, even though allowing foreign companies reap fair returns on their investments. After addressing a session on local content at the just-ended 7th Annual Ghana Summit on Oil, Gas and Power, lawyer and programs manager of Trace International, Melanie Dixon, highlighted to Joy Business some of the grey areas in the law.
It's important to highlight that Ghana's local content law is very new because Ghana's petroleum sector is very new, and it's important to also recognize that Ghana has taken up the responsibility of involving local content much more quickly than most other oil-producing countries in Ghana and in Africa and around the world. However, I think it is important to recognize that there are still some gaps in the specificity of the law. The law does not adequately address how these measures will be enforced. So, for example, in terms of joint ventures in the petroleum sector, yes, it is fraudulent and it is against the criminal penal code to engage in a false or falsified joint venture. However, it's not clear how that will be enforced and by whom, by which authority. So without that kind of clarity, it doesn't really create a disincentive to engage in such things. And as a person who focuses on anti-bribery and anti-corruption, these gray areas that do not adequately specify what happens when there is bribery, corruption, or fraud, create too much room for these kinds of activities to occur.
Despite the challenges in implementing the law, some international companies and local SMEs have secured contracts. Vice President of Enterprise and Community Development Company, Pixaria Global, Harry Pastuzek, told Joy Business they were impressed how local companies have overcome some of the challenges.
So on our latest statistics, with the SMEs with whom we work have won 54 contracts, and the total value is about $16 million. Just as we heard today, Ghana has only been at this since 2007, really, since discovery, 2010, 2011 for production. So it's a short period of time, and we're very impressed by the way in which small and medium enterprises are accepting the challenge.
President Mahama stated during presentation of the State of the Nation address that indigenous companies have benefited from contracts worth over $200 million.
All right, so it's the end of the week, and we would like to know how it ended on the market, the Ghana Stock Exchange, of course, and John has joined me to tell us more. John, good evening.
Good evening, Emmanuel. The market today actually ended on a very bearish note as 49,103 traded at a value of 45,000, quite insignificant, some numbers there, but still a decline in market capitalization. That's almost dropped close to roughly about 15% since we started the year. Now, almost about the composite index still dropping or increasing in the negative ranges. Now it stands almost around 7.54, and of course the financial index keeps dropping. Now it is 10.07. So for those investors who are actually doing financial stocks, they are actually losing over 10% of their value on the Ghana Stock Exchange. And these are the makers of the market, as GCB topped the losers of the market at 26 pesos. Total followed with 8 pesos, and of course Societe Generale 3 pesos. UT Bank also lost 1 peso. So all those equity that moved the market lost today. That's basically how the market actually traded. But then the only thing we can actually smile as Ghanaians where we have interest is oil, as it's actually trading as at now $45.13 after gaining 59 cents around this time. The American market has some few hours to actually end. I'm sure by the time maybe the market ends, something similar or something small would actually be added to it, because there's a lot of demand pressure on oil as such. And the currency, the US dollar against the Ghana cedi, is actually weakened. The Ghana cedi has actually strengthened against the US dollar, gained against the British pound, the euro, and of course the Chinese yuan. But as we speak, it's still trailing the CFA franc. So basically that's how it is. So with 3 Ghana cedi, it's 81 pesos, you get yourself 1 Ghana cedi, 5.47, 1 euro. So that's how the market is actually ending. For the cedi, it's all good news for Ghana. For what you call oil, it's also good. But for the rest, I think it's not very good. We need intervention at the Ghana Stock Exchange, so actually to whip up interest and the appetite to actually grow on that particular market. Otherwise, we're going to see some further declines on the Ghana Stock Exchange.
All right, so let's see what next week brings to us. Okay, so that ends the stock exchange analysis and also ends the business segment for tonight. Thanks for your company and have a great weekend. My name is Emmanuel.atani.
Welcome back to Joy News Prime. The Customs Division of the Ghana.Revenue Authority in the Ashanti region has destroyed 500 boxes of unwholesome cigarettes. The imported cigarettes, which did not meet market and health standards of the country, were valued at 10,000 Ghana cedis. Sector Commander at the Customs Division has been speaking to Joy News.
The products did not bear any inscription to indicate health warning, content and industrial specification as required by law.
We have to be here to see to it that the very last stick of cigarette is destroyed and buried, to send a signal to the smugglers that these things are not allowed. They are anti-social activities. They hurt the economy of the state, of the nation called Ghana. They are meant for other markets like in Burkina and Togo. The ones meant for Ghana are labeled for sale in Ghana.
The product did not also meet the legal specifications as required and tested by Food and Drugs Authority. Paul Kwesi Ahiakpo said seizure notice was issued to back the action of the Customs Division to destroy the unwholesome products.
The law requires that I apply to my commissioner for permission. I just don't get up one day, I have a nice dream and said, okay, I'm going to destroy. No, I have to seek permission, clearance from the commissioner. When the commissioner gives me that clearance, I have to now prepare a distraction certificate as I showed to you. Yeah. Yes. So armed with that, I can now invite BAT because they are the beneficiaries of this exercise to come and foot the bill.
Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin's report from the Ashanti region.
Meanwhile, the Ashanti Regional Commander of the Ghana.Revenue Authority Customs Division has warned of intensified crackdown against smuggling. For Kwesi Ahiakpo says money meant for national development cannot be allowed to go down the drain through illegal deals. He spoke to journalists after customs personnel intercepted 2 articulated trucks loaded with uncustoms textiles near Bibiani in the Western region.
Infrastructure development. We are from Kasi. They are asphalting Kumasi city roads. Asphalt is very expensive. We talk about health, education. They say they are building schools. They are now inaugurating some. Whose money? They say get fund. Do you know where the money comes from? The hospital we have to add some more. The public transportation. We want everything for free. Dumso, they have grown a car power, but do you know where they got the money from? It is these activities that we carry out. That is why I am determined that I'll play my role and play it very well as a taxman. You like me or not, I'll come like a kite. And in this time that there are security threats, let's assume, as we are examining, we found rocket-propelled grenade launchers. We find bombs. We find hand grenades and other things that terrorists use. You, the journalists here, are you not very close to me? So if they want.
The Progressive People's Party flag bearer, Dr. Papakwesi Indom, is challenging some activities being undertaken by the National Development Planning Commission, he says, falls outside its mandate. Addressing a public lecture at the University of Ghana on Friday, Dr. Indom stated that the Commission is filled in its mandate under Article 36 of the 1992 Constitution.
The National Development Planning Commission, established under Article 86 of the 1992 Constitution of the Republic of Ghana through the Vice President, was to report to the President, who has an advisory, monitoring and evaluation role. The Commission is also to work at the district level under the Local Government Act 462 of the 1993 to ensure development at the grassroots. The PPP flag bearer, while delivering a lecture to the political science students of the University of Ghana on youth empowerment, questioned the current activities of the National Development Planning Commission, saying it has lost its mandate under the Constitution.
If you read
the Constitution and what it asks the National Development Planning Commission to do, if you read its own act, it tells them to work at the district level to ensure that there is even development in all the districts. It even talks about infrastructure. It talks about so many other things to be done at the district level. And today, what I'm asking you to do, and asking the young men and women here at the University of Ghana to do, is to go and take a look at all of those things that were intended for the NDPC to do and compare those things with what it is doing today, especially today when it says we're putting together a 40-year development plan. They should go and take a look and find out from themselves whether what is happening there is consistent with its mandate or not.
He also asked the students to compare him and the competence of other political leaders before choosing who to govern the country after the November 7 polls.
So someday, if I had the chance, I will come and talk to you about politics. And I will do a thing for you here. I put John Dramani Mahama, draw him there. And then Nana Akufo-Addo will draw him there. And I'll draw Papa Kwesi Nkrumah also there. 3 of them have been MPs, ministers of state. One of them is president. And then we look through, before they became all those things, where were they? What did they do? Okay, what have they done with their lives? And when they were in those positions, what did they do? What did they do? Okay, what have they delivered when they were in those positions? And then you do the plus and minus. You know how to do those analysis and decide who is the best person.
George Yalson Vignes report for Joy News.
Still to come in the bulletin, former New Patriotic Party chairman interred after grand funeral service attended by President Mahama and several other dignitaries. Up next, we'll bring you international news. Aisha Ibrahim is here. It means she's going to tell us what's coming up on Joy News Interactive. Good evening to you, Aisha.
Good evening,
You're looking glorious.
Thank you very much.
What's the secret today?
I love your shirt.
Thanks.
There's no secrets. It's always being as it is. So coming up on the interactive segment, you weigh in on the brutal beating of 16-year-old Christopher Bama from Tamale.
They should be investigated thoroughly so that the necessary disciplinary action be taken against them.
They must be taken to court.
Right from the word go, they even have to be, dismissed from the. It's unacceptable.
And Hassan Ayarga's All People's Party is the 26th political party in Ghana. They received a certificate of registration from the Electoral Commission.
I'm not sure he's capable of winning.
He can win once he has the determination.
I don't really think he's capable of winning because he went with the PNC and he wasn't able to win. Then I think he going personal, it wouldn't help him.
So watch out for Mr. Ayarga on the ballot paper come November 7. And I'll be back in about 30 minutes for us to interact the way we do it all the time. Please stay.
All right, so yes, indeed, we'll be back. I shall be back in about 30 minutes with Joy News Interactive. But right now, let's take a quick recap of our top stories. The Ghana Armed Forces is promising thorough investigations into allegations 2 soldiers tortured a 16-year-old boy, they accused of stealing a mobile phone belonging to one of them. The Military High Command, meanwhile, says it is yet to exonerate any officer in the Kaswa Millennium City shooting incident, which resulted in the death of a civilian. President Mahama is giving approval for the Technical University Bill to be laid before Parliament, insisting he stands by his promise to convert all 10 polytechnics. In business, the National Insurance Commission is initiating steps to introduce Islamic insurance for Muslims to boost the sector. On to the rest of our stories now. And founder of the All People's Congress Party, Hassan Ayariga, is going all out to convince Ghanaians that he is serious about taking over administration of this country. After securing his final certificate from the Electoral Commission on Friday as the 26th registered political party in the country, Hassan Ayariga announced an open door campaign to seek the people's mandate. Deputy Chairman of Operations at the EC, Amadou Sule, during the presentation said the APC has met all the constitutional requirements.
Despite being granted its certification, the Commission says APC has 90 days to furnish it with addresses of party offices nationwide as the general elections approaches. The EC's Deputy Chairman of Operations, Amadou Sule, stated the Commission will not hesitate to withdraw the certificate of any political party which fails to conform to the requirements.
Before you become a recognized registered political party, you should have ensured that in all the 216 administrative districts in this country, you have not less than 2 tiers established offices, recognized offices. I don't want to talk about a situation where we went to inspect certain political parties' offices. You see the colors and everything there, but you see tailors sitting there sewing. And I tell you, 144 that we are talking about today, I can be sure on our record, we have more than that. And having more than that, I'm saying it emphatically because my district officer had confirmed that they've gone to those offices and they've seen them. Then the other requirement is founding members, at least in each administrative district. And as I talk now on record, we have the 216 founding members of the organization.
Founder of the All People Congress Party, Dr. Hassan Ayariga, said the limited time within which the party galvanized resources to meet the EC's requirements shows its preparedness to manage the affairs of the country if given power.
Today marks the beginning of an enormous shake-up in the political landscape of our motherland. With this final certificate in hand, the floodgates of a new era is now open to all well-meaning Ghanaians who desire a change and transformation in their living condition.
He also charged the EC to crack the whip where necessary, but also create an equal platform for all political parties. Hassan Ayariga challenged claims that he is not a serious politician.
We need a change. The NDC have failed. The MPP has failed us. And you know, I am not the one saying everybody. And we need a new face, and the new face is APC, so everybody should come on board. Ghanaians should take us serious because we are serious ourselves. We have demonstrated to the world that we are not just talking like other political parties. They should come out and let Ghanaians know that they are a serious political party by satisfying the constitutional requirement of our land. And again, satisfying the constitutional requirement of the EC. We are cleared. APC is cleared today to contest 2016 general elections, and we are moving on.
Hassan Ayariga, a former presidential candidate of the People's National Convention, defected to form his own party after he failed to win the party's nomination to contest the 2016 election.
The Wa Magistrate Court has adjourned to May 5, 2016, the case of Police Constable Felix Osebonsu, who is alleged to have assaulted and raped a 16-year-old primary 5 pupil at the suburb of Wa. Prosecuting Detective Sergeant George Doe told the court that they are yet to send the docket to the Attorney General for advice. He pleaded with the judge to remand the constable to enable the investigator to deliver the docket to the Attorney General to work on. The Wa Magistrate Court Judge, His Worship Sidney Brima, remanded the suspect into police custody and adjourned the case to May 6, 2016. Constable Felix Osebonsu was arrested about 2 weeks ago for allegedly assaulting and raping a primary 5 pupil at Mangu, a suburb of Wa. The case was lodged with the Wa police and investigation commenced immediately. It led to the arrest of Felix, who is with the Rapid Deployment Force of the Ghana Police Service. Deputy Upper West Police Commander ACP Dr. Shaibu Gariba told Joy News investigations have been conducted and a medical report from the Wa Regional Hospital proves that indeed the victim was assaulted physically as well as some form of carnal knowledge. Right, former New Patriotic Party chairman Obetsebi-Lamptey has been buried in Accra after a well-attended funeral. The former Minister of Tourism was seen off by Ghanaians from all walks of life. In a tribute read on his behalf, President John Mahama described Mr. Obetsebi-Lamptey as a lover of the arts and tourism. Derek Okosam was at the funeral and now reports.
President Mahama, former President Jerry John Rawlings, NPP flag bearer Nana Akufo-Addo, and many others paid their last respects to the one-time NPP chair and advertising guru Jacob-Lantey Otanka Obetsebi-Lamptey at the funeral at the State House. This was after the cortege made a brief stop at the NPP headquarters where party officials and faithful bid him farewell. At the State House, President John Mahama, in his tribute read on his behalf by the Tourism Minister, described Jake as a man who would pursue dialogue to resolve conflict.
It comes from the tendency to see life as an end in itself, rather than a mere phase which is destined to end at some point. Jake was successful in many ways. He was a family man, an entrepreneur who loved the art with passion. Hence his success as later served as managing director. He was a politician. In the administration of President John Kufuor, he served as chief of staff and later held ministerial portfolios at different times, Minister for Information and Minister for Tourism and Modernization of the capital city.
For both the old and young in the NPP, Jake was a man of strategy, a rare quality he used as campaign manager to propel then John Kufuor to the presidency.
I think he belongs to the class of politicians of our ilk who picked up from their father. All of us know that his father was Obetsebi-Lamptey. I am happy that some of the things his father was not able to accomplish, his father and those around him. As campaign manager on 2 occasions, he worked very hard and brought power to this political tradition. For me, that was the peak of his achievements.
Well, it's unfortunate we are losing a great man at this point in our life as a party. But I have personally worked under Jake as a national youth organizer in the run-up to the 2000 elections. I was very much part of the campaign, so I know the worth of Jake to the party. It's unfortunate that we're losing him at this time. He was a great pillar and he was our motivator. So we have lost a great man to the party. The lessons that we learned from him is that we must come together as one family and fight the cause together, and I'm sure that Jake, the spirit of Jake, will be behind us and we will succeed in these upcoming elections.
Jake's passing, like all passing, tells us that we don't know when we will go, so whilst we are here, we should lead straight and virtuous life. But we don't know when our Maker will call us. Once Jake was here, he taught all of us the lesson of tolerance, tolerating other opposing views. Politics is not about strife, it's not about fighting, it's exchange of ideas. I think that is what he teaches us in his life.
Jake is survived by a wife and 2 daughters. For Joy News, Derek Ekosam, State House, Accra.
Up next, we bring you entertainment. All right, and that's it for the bulletin. For more news, so you can log on to myjoyonline.com, and the story about the young boy who was allegedly brutally assaulted by the soldiers is on our Facebook. You can learn more about it. My name is Delali. Have a good night.